Good morning. Today is Tuesday. It's my second day of fasting. I started fasting as of Sunday evening, you could say. That's when I had my last meal, around 7. And yesterday I didn't eat anything at all. And yeah, my plan is to try to make it until 4 p.m. today. Or if I could, to 7 p.m., that would be 48 hours of fasting. But yesterday was really good. I wasn't really hungry. I started my day off with some black tea. Then I went to CrossFit with a pre-workout in my system, and I wasn't really hungry the rest of the day. When I started feeling a bit of hunger, I would have some more tea, non-caffeinated, because I don't want to overdo it with the caffeine either. I was already at like 300 milligrams or so. Then right now I'm a bit hungry. I'm gonna see how the CrossFit goes. I have another pre-workout ready to have some. It hopefully helps with the energy a bit, because that's usually, I want to keep my muscles stimulated, but I also don't want to overdo it. So I'm going to take it light and hope that my body is in ketosis and manages to produce the energy that I'll need for the workouts. So I'll let you guys know how it's doing, how I'm feeling through the workout and for the rest of the day. Why am I fasting? Well, the main reason for me is that it's supposed to be beneficial for the microbiome. Since I sometimes have some digestive issues, this would supposedly kind of reset the system and give your gut a chance to repair itself. And especially the longer fasts, from what I've heard, like 24 hours up to, well, longer really, are the ones that trigger autophagy, which is the system that your body has to start using old components, like basically recycle, I believe, old cells or other things that are just lying around and aren't really useful. In that sense, the recycling of old cells supposedly is also very beneficial when it comes to preventing cancer. So that's one of the reasons. The other one is the fact that I have what seems to be like allergies. So I'm hopeful that I can figure out if I have a food allergy or a respiratory allergy of some kind. Like my nose is often stuffed, clogged, and I believe that if I can fast long enough that I can find out if it's something that I'm eating which is causing these issues, or if it's perhaps something in the air or whatever else might be causing it. And third, well, I've been gaining some weight, which I hope is muscle to some extent, but I've also been getting some fat accumulation. So the fast will hopefully make it easier to get rid of that. What I also like about fasting is how it usually the first day increases my energy, and it allows you to really focus in on work, for instance, because you don't have to eat. First of all, saves a lot of time. I also noticed that meditation, or like breathwork and meditation, feels a bit different in some sense. I have to try it out more, experiment more to see if that's actually the case and to describe it in a bit more detail. But yeah, it's maybe just easier to drop into it, like a sort of meditative state. What else have I been up to? Well, yesterday I was supposed to do a video. I was supposed to do some acting for a fertility clinic in Abu Dhabi. Now I canceled because on Sunday I wasn't feeling too great. Had a bit of a headache and low energy. I was sleep deprived. So as to not cancel the same day, I gave them the heads up. It was also difficult because they kept on making it worse, the conditions. It was already pretty poorly paid. at about 100 dirhams an hour, which for acting seems low. And then it turned out that, the script, I would have to invest quite a bit of time in learning the script because it was complicated text. And I suppose they wouldn't use a prompter. Also, due to the time, they wanted to start at 7 a.m. in the morning. Coming from Dubai, that would have taken almost an hour and a half. I would have had to get accommodation, which would have pretty much negated all of the money that I would have earned from the shoots. But even staying there would have been difficult because they wanted me to bring over this other guy from Dubai without providing or promising any sort of compensation either for transportation. So yes, stuff was like accumulating, and honestly, although I saw it as like a good test to see if, it's good to have more experience in acting, but yeah, waking up yesterday, I was already like groggy. I felt it was the middle of the night, even though it was 7 a.m. So if I would have had to get up at 5:30 or something a.m., that would have been a total disaster. I don't think my mind would have worked properly during the day, and the acting would have been a disaster anyway. So that's probably for the best. All right, so I made it to 46 hours of fasting. It wasn't half bad. When I got back from training, I did spend a bit of time on the balcony soaking up some sun to try and get my energy levels. They're actually not too bad. I was just enjoying the sunshine also, so that was part of it. Then I did some work. I felt quite relaxed, like a little bit, maybe, I don't know if slow is a good word, but actually when I'm working slower and not jumping from one thing to the other, I sometimes tend to get more done. So I felt as if I was properly progressing through what I had to do. So it was a good kind of focus. And then my energy levels took like a bit of a dip, so I decided to do some breath work. I did a 55-minute session for this new video that I found, and afterwards meditated for a bit. And after that, I was like trying to drink tea because I was starting to get hungry again. And I wasn't terribly hungry, but the issue was that I couldn't get food off my mind. Like I was somewhat hungry, and I just kept thinking about eating something. So I figured maybe that's, maybe it's time to call it quits because my energy was only so-so. And I figured tomorrow I would like to be able to train tomorrow. So I decided to listen to my body and not go for the 72 hours. Like I already reached my goal of decaridashi, and I did more than 36 hours, which was the original plan, or that's like my baseline. I have to do 36 hours every month, and 24 hours once per week. So it's basically like a 6-1 fast with the addition of a longer fast once per month is the idea. Now it had been some time, so it was good that I did a bit of a longer one. Also, since I made the comments this morning about autophagy, or autophagy as it's also pronounced, I wasn't quite clear on the process, so I looked up some other videos and learned that there's autophagy, and mainly that refers to recycling within the cell, so intracellular. For instance, old proteins, building blocks, those might get broken down into amino acids so they can be recycled, and also mitochondria, those also get recycled, and I believe this term for that is autophagy, mitophagy. So those two processes are related, and mitophagy apparently really kicks into gear after 36 hours perhaps of fasting, maybe 48 hours. So at some point I'm going to do definitely a 72-hour one. Again, one time I almost got there, not quite, but reasonably close. I think I did like 65 hours or something. But yeah, I also need to work a bit on my preparation for when the refeed arrives, because you're supposed to eat slowly, you're supposed to eat small portions and something very light, such as a soup or bone broth or cooked vegetables. And yeah, I was craving peanut butter, so I had that instead. And then I had a sandwich with peanut butter, high protein bread, but still, I don't know if it's the best option right after a fast. I had some green beans as well. But yeah, at least I didn't have anything unhealthy or too sugary. So next time I'll make sure to be even more prepared. I also looked up the reason why you should introduce foods slowly, and why you should pick foods that aren't too high in glycemic index. So one reason is that if you rapidly reintroduce food, especially when it's high in fat or fiber or sugar, that can lead to bloating, gas, stomach cramps, since the digestive system, the acids are reduced, so it might struggle to handle the sudden increase in workload. Some people might experience nausea and vomiting if they process a too large volume of food or certain types of food after they fast. You can also get diarrhea or constipation, since the digestive system may react depending on the types of food you consume. There's also something called refeeding syndrome, but I would hope that doesn't really apply after a short fast that is less than 72 hours in length. And finally, there's the blood sugar fluctuations. So the glycemic index indicates how fast your blood sugar is going to spike, and having large amounts of carbohydrates would lead to a sharp increase and then a sharp decline, which can cause fatigue, irritability, and weakness. So yeah, just to add to that, and that's something that Sadhguru recently, I recently saw it on one of his videos. I don't know when he said it exactly, but you should make sure that you don't drink too much water before you eat something, because you're diluting your stomach acids, and your stomach's gonna have to, it's gonna stay in there for longer. And the ideal is that you clear your stomach within about 2.5 hours after eating. And adding water and diluting your stomach acids can cause it to stay in there longer, which is not ideal. I also learned that human growth hormone is increased by quite a margin. I saw some source on a YouTube video saying it goes up about 1,200% after, I believe it was 7 days of fasting, which is quite a stretch. But you can see here that within hours, let's say 36, you're at two times the normal level. After 72 hours, you're at 3.5 times the normal level. What is human growth hormone good for? It first of all stimulates muscle growth, improves physical performance, and helps in recovery of muscles after exercise. Secondly, it's good for fat loss. It plays a significant role in the metabolism of body fat and its conversion to energy. Bone density is the third. It's vital for maintaining and increasing bone density by stimulating bone forming and bone resorbing cells. Fourth, cellular regeneration and repair. HGH promotes cell regeneration and repair, which impacts almost every cell in the body. That can lead to healthier skin, reduced aging signs, and a faster healing of wounds. Number 5 is metabolism. HGH boosts metabolism, which leads to an increase in energy levels and an overall feeling of well-being. 6th is heart health. It's a little tongue twister there. Some studies suggest that HGH can improve cardiovascular health by reducing the risk factors for disease such as atherosclerosis. Haven't pronounced that word too often. 7 is improved sleep patterns. HGH is released in pulses that peak during the early stages of sleep, which can improve the quality of sleep and the regenerative processes that occur during rest. And finally, number 8, cognitive function. There's also some evidence to suggest HGH can improve cognitive function and may protect against cognitive decline that comes with age.